What's going on, guys? Sean Nalawani, SeanNal.com. And in this video today, we're talking about the subject of foods that are the best for building muscle. And I actually want to basically dispel the idea by explaining why there's no such thing as any single food or any single set of foods that you need to include in your bodybuilding diet to get the best results possible. Before I jump into it, guys, make sure to hit the subscribe button below to stay up to date on future videos, and also click the bell icon as well. That way you'll be notified anytime I upload new content so that you don't miss out on anything. So this is a pretty common type of article or video that you'll see online. The top 10 foods to gain muscle, or 12 superfoods that build muscle fast, that sort of thing. And it is true that there are certain types of foods you'll usually find in a typical bodybuilding diet because they're more macro-friendly and more nutrient dense. But the truth is that there's a virtually endless list of different possible foods and food combinations that you can use to meet your daily nutritional needs. And no single food is a must by any means. Remember that proper muscle building nutrition isn't about one single food here and one single food here and another one here, and this food is good and this food is bad and that food is in between. It's not about single foods. Instead, it's about your overall intake for the day as a whole in terms of the total calories, the total macro and micronutrient content, and the fiber. That's how your body actually looks at it. And so it's really just about knowing what your total nutritional needs are for the day, and then using some combination of foods to meet those needs. It's pretty much just a numbers game when it all comes down to it. Now, you obviously want to be basing the bulk of your diet around nutrient-dense, minimally processed whole foods, and getting in a few servings of fruit and veggies in the mix, because it's not just about the grams of protein, carbs, and fats, but it's also about getting sufficient fiber and micronutrients as well. But no single food has any special properties to where your bottom line results are going to be impacted based on whether you eat it or not. And when I first started lifting, because of just bad information, I did fall into that trap of thinking that I had to choke down certain foods because they were the best for building muscle. And I thought that an effective bodybuilding diet automatically was supposed to be bland and boring. So I remember literally just eating tuna straight from the can and hating every single bite of it, or eating plain egg whites every single morning, even though I was totally sick of them, or having like really bad tasting meal replacement shakes that were marketed as being the perfect muscle building meal. And I did that for quite a while before realizing just how unnecessary it really was. The idea that a healthy diet should automatically be unenjoyable is a completely outdated concept. Or you hear these quotes like, food is just fuel, or eat for results, not for pleasure. Nothing tastes as great as being in great shape. But this is all just BS, really. I'm not saying that you're going to be able to sit there and eat high fat, high sugar food all day long, or that every meal is going to taste like a cheeseburger or an ice cream sundae. You can mix those things in moderation, but if you just take the time to plan things out, there's no reason why you can't legitimately enjoy all of your meals throughout the day. And even healthy, macro-friendly meals can taste really good if you just put a bit of effort into it. So just go through each main category of foods, so protein, carbs, and fats, and pick a few good options within those categories that you most prefer. And then just base your diet around those foods. So if you don't like tuna, then there's no reason whatsoever to eat tuna. If you're not a fan of eggs, don't eat eggs. If you don't like oatmeal or bananas or broccoli, then don't eat them. No single food source is a must-have in your plan. And rather than thinking in terms of an individual muscle-building food, think more in terms of an overall muscle building diet. So if you really like, say, strawberries and grapes, then use those as your main fruit sources. Or if you prefer turkey and salmon rather than chicken and beef, use those as your primary protein sources. If you're vegan, then you don't need to eat any of that. You can go with beans, lentils, and tofu to hit your protein needs. If you'd rather have sweet potato instead of rice for your carb sources, then go with that. And if you're still a beginner, and you want a good list of nutrient-dense, macro-friendly foods that you can use to hit your overall nutritional needs, then I'll just list some ideas for you in the description box in order to make things easier. But just figure out your daily calorie needs and your approximate macronutrient needs, and then use whatever combination of foods you'd like. And that list certainly isn't definitive, but it's just there to give you some ideas. And if you're willing to just put in a bit of extra time and effort, then you can also find tons of great tasting recipes and meal ideas using those foods if you just search around a bit. You don't have to eat totally basic combinations only, like chicken breast, rice, and green beans. I mean, that's fine if you enjoy it and you prefer the simplicity, but there are a lot of different sauces and flavorings you can use. I'll link a post I did on that in the description box for you to check out, outlining 20 low-calorie sauces and condiments that you can use to flavor your meals. And again, lots of recipes out there, you know, wraps, quesadillas, omelets, healthy pizzas, fajitas, things like that. And lots of sweeter dessert type stuff too, using protein powders, Greek yogurt, oatmeal. There are just so many things to choose from beyond a plain piece of protein and a carb source with salt and pepper on it. Just run a basic online search using Google, YouTube, or any other social media platform using terms like fitness recipes, bulking recipes, cutting recipes, and you'll find an endless variety of different options, from really simple recipes to more complex ones that can be easily fitted into your nutritional needs for the day. And going about your diet in this sort of way will get you the same bottom line muscle building results, plus two huge benefits. Benefit number one is that you'll be way more likely to stay consistent with your diet over the long term. Remember that building muscle isn't a quick fix, and if you want to get into great shape and stay in great shape, it's a lifelong thing. So if you take a look at your current diet and you can't say that this is a way of eating that you'd be happy to maintain over the long term, then something probably needs to change. Food is just such a central part of our lives, and most people out there, unless they're doing intermittent fasting, they're probably eating 3 or more times a day. And if eating is literally a chore because you're forcing yourself to eat things that you really don't like, there's a pretty good chance that you are eventually going to burn out and quit. And then the second benefit, and it's a very simple one, but your life will just be way better. I mean, that's such an obvious thing, but if you're eating 4 times a day and you genuinely look forward to each meal and you actually enjoy it, I consider my own diet to be fully enjoyable. That's just a way better way of living than eating 4 times a day and not enjoying it. So by shifting your mentality to where you're just viewing your nutritional intake in terms of an overall day or an overall week, and focusing on hitting your calories and your approximate macros from minimally processed whole foods, and then laying your diet out in the most enjoyable way possible, you'll get better muscle building results because you'll be way more likely to stay consistent, and your day-to-day life will just be more fun and enjoyable, period. And if you're literally doing dumb things like I was, like choking down tuna straight out of a can and forcing yourself to eat foods that you really dislike, then you're gonna save mental energy and willpower as well. So I hope this was helpful, guys. If you wanna learn all the details on how to apply this way of eating to your muscle building program, along with concrete workouts, meal plans, and supplement advice, along with one-on-one coaching, then you can download my body transformation blueprint by clicking here, or by heading over to btblueprint.com using the link in the description box. Make sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram if you aren't already. The links for that are below. The official website is over at seannowell.com, and feel free to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to stay up to date on future videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you again soon.